In the south of Joburg, but shifting focus slightly now, the Leondale High School has suspended over 30 pupils for allegedly smoking dagga on the premises. The incident was captured on video and shared on social media. The Gauteng Education MEC, Panyaza Lesufi, has vowed to open a criminal case. To tell us more, the Gauteng Education spokesperson, Steven Mabona, joins me now for that conversation. So, Steve, just tell me about what you know at this point about this incident. I mean, the video looks utterly shocking, happening in the concourse within the school premises, and it shows quite a number of young people. We can't show it, of course, because the faces of those children are on display, which would violate a whole lot of rights and legalities. But my goodness, it's shocking. What do you as a department know about this incident at this point?
Well, thanks very much. Tulas, we hear that they were celebrating the so-called dagga day, which is something that we are not aware of. But we said to them they need to choose between being at school in the classroom and being at home, where then they can celebrate with smoking dagga and all those. So hence we have suspended 36 of those learners. And the investigation continues. If some are identified as well, they will follow. The disciplinary process will be on Monday. And but the MEC commended those that are disciplined rather, because we have over 1.9, that is 1,900 learners in that school. So if we say 36 are involved in this, and it means some did not participate in this uncalled for behavior, and we commended them for doing that and staying disciplined.
Just tell me about the disciplinary process, Steve, because many would want to know this. I take it this is a precautionary suspension. What then ensues, and what is the end objective of the disciplinary process? Is it to work these children out of the schooling system, which I don't imagine it is, or is it more focused towards rehabilitation and reintegration and corrective measures in as far as their behavior is concerned?
Indeed, I mean, discipline in our school is more corrective if you take them for a disciplinary process. But there are those cases where, are serious, like peddling of drugs in our environment. Those ones, they know that once it is proven that you are selling drugs in our schools, we really expel you. And though we do have a constitutional obligation to find an alternative school for you, we will normally do that, but also try to put you in programs that will assist you to probably repent from your deeds and then, find that school. But on many occasions, such learners struggle to be placed because an alternative school will say, but why you want to bring problem to my school? And they will then have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that no, we have programs that we have put the learner in, which will then be assisting, to improve. But yes, there is a possibility of expulsion, which can only be recommended by the disciplinary process at the school. Because remember, those are parents. It means that it will be their children if they say, we don't need them to be in the school because the way they conduct themselves, they would have transgressed the code of conduct of the school, which has been crafted by parents, to us.
Yeah, and among the serious offences that you mentioned that could have, dire consequences for some of the pupils, you mentioned the conduct of peddling drugs in schools, is what you call it. Do you as a department suspect that this is the way that this marijuana that was being smoked by these children made its way to the schooling environment?
Well, according to information at our disposal currently, is that one learner was distributing, giving, or some they were buying from him. So we really need the disciplinary process to assist us with that because it's sitting on Monday. And we said, in the event that there's an adult that is involved, that probably is assisting this learner, we need to get that information so that we can then report this matter to the police, and people need really to account, because we cannot have people perpetuating what we've seen in our schools on that video. So we'll then call the police to say this is what is really happening, so that the police can then open a case against an adult that would have been involved in the peddling of drugs in our school. It's a serious problem that we have in most of our schools, where you have an adult that will be working with a learner, and they give them, drugs to come and peddle at our schools. That's why, if you are found as a learner being involved in this, surely the school will, with the SGB, will really recommend expulsion. And the HOD will then have to look at what is put on his table, because he's the only person that can expel a child. It's the HOD who will then make sure that they facilitate the alternative school for the child.
And just two more questions, Steve, before I let you go. One has to do with the involvement of the SAPS. Is that now a definitive step you are taking to lay charges and for a criminal investigation to happen, following, of course, the prescripts of child justice in this country? Or is that a tentative step that you are thinking may become a step you take in future?
No, like as we said, we will wait for the SGB to conduct their disciplinary process.
Yeah.
Then it will inform us whether is there any adult or a person that is sitting somewhere at home, providing this to the learner that is alleged to have been distributing, or they've been buying from him. So it will assist us dearly to say, what do we do? We said, in the event there's an adult that is involved, surely we will go to the police and say, allegations are that there's this adult who's assisting children to peddle drugs in our school, which is something that we're not going to allow.
Yeah. And lastly, Steve, just on a broader perspective, I was looking at the national policy that was promulgated, I think, in 2002, that had to do with drug abuse in schools by the then Minister of Education, Professor Kada Asmal, at the time. So this is an age-old problem that we continue to deal with. In this instance, how do you as a department deal with pupils who are either lured into this behavior of using drugs and can be corrected, or those who then end up, going down the path of criminality, perhaps in collaboration with certain people in the community? Because I'd like to believe that the context of the school itself, the broader community context, is relevant in all of this. What are the procedures? How do you handle the situation of trying to teach these young people about the dangers and perils of drugs, and how easy it is to get sucked into a world of drugs and criminality?
Well, we have programs that we conduct. We have what we call school safety. It's a broader project where you will then involve our sister departments, community safety, police, social development, because those programs, we cannot do them without the stakeholders. To a certain extent, that there are instances where we take this, I will say, rebellious or those that are ill-disciplined to correctional facilities as well, to go and see on what happens when you continue to do things that are untoward. And we will then assist them. But those that need to repent, take them through those programs that social development would offer to them, working very closely and making sure that community safety with the police, we conduct this sporadic search and seizure, make sure that if there are drugs or any unwanted weapons, we take away from our schools. But the principal has a responsibility to make sure that in the event of anything, they just call the police, they intervene, and we just want to call upon parents now, because it's more like a societal matter where you'll find that children behave in a certain way that probably in the community they will behave. So parents need to work with us and make sure that our children are disciplined, and we give them information on what drugs can do to a child, or what drugs can do to an adult anyone that who's doing drugs, really, you don't need to perpetuate that people do drugs.
Absolutely. All right. I've got to thank you for your time, Steve Mabona. Just on a lighter note, Steve, were you holding your camera this whole time that we were talking? How's your arm doing? You're quite strong. It looks steady. We've been talking for a few minutes. It looks quite steady.
You've killed my arm, so I forgive you.
Steve Mabona speaks on behalf of the Department of Education in Gauteng there, talking to us about that situation at Leondale High School, where that video that we can't show you, of course, to protect the identity of those children, where it emanated from, that has gone viral.